starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
The time is now. The time is now. The time is now. I'm Trent, and this is Vision Preparedness. The time is now. The time is now. And welcome to Mayhemic Thursday. We made it, folks. We're this freaking close for the weekend. We just got to get through the mayhem today. And do we have mayhem abound and mayhemicness going on around the world? Thank you all for joining us tonight. Good to see everybody. How are y'all doing? Let's speak to a couple of folks in here coming through the door. Please remember, wipe your feet. And because it is approximately 32 degrees, Teresa, would you please throw another log in the wood-burning stove because it is chilly. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Dan H., for the 5x5. I appreciate you, my brother. Good to see you. Good to see you. Coffee first, then speak. Welcome in. Good to see you. Good to see you, White Wolf Fang. Good to see you. Joe, good evening. How are you? Majid, good to see you. Jules, welcome in. Water Tiger, what's going on? My sister, Loretta, how are your family? Good to see you. Hope you had an amazing day today. It's Mayhemic Thursday, y'all. Y'all just don't know. It's mayhem is abound, and this is what we were built for. We were built for this right here today. Good to see you, Loretta. Pennsylvania Preparedness, my man. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Modi Soldier is in the building. Good to see you, sir. Katrinka, laughing out loud. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Yes, indeed. East Tennessee Preparedness. Welcome in. Welcome in. My cart runneth over. Hello. How are you? Good to see you. I'm going to scooch back here just a little bit because I want to see everybody coming in the door. F. Peer family. Hello. How are you? Oki Khan. Welcome in, and everybody else that is pouring through the door. Oops. Good evening. Hey, I know her. VP's Chica. How are you? Thank you for the coffee refill. You slid in and slid out pretty quickly. Thank you. I appreciate you. The Prepping Artist, welcome in. Storm Weather, good to see all of y'all. And because everybody there, and if I did not speak to you personally, because we got an amazing guest, and we're diving in the rabbit hole head first, folks. But first, this is for everybody that joined us tonight. Thank you for stopping by, and I want to introduce my amazing guest. Another round of applause for the one, the only, Mr. Mad Shad. Good evening, my brother. How are you?
Hey Trent, how you doing? Greetings
Doing
from the Erie Coast.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Good to see you, Shad. I hope you had an amazing day as well, for
Oh
sure.
yes, oh yes, indeed. Yeah, great. It was great.
So
Yep.
you got mayhem going on in Cleveland?
Mayhemic. Um, yeah, always. There's always some mayhem going on. I got a chance. Last night we had our company party,
Hmm.
and I got to go downtown Cleveland.
Okay.
That's that's interesting. It's
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah,
it is. It
yeah.
is.
It's definitely mayhemic, especially the parking.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. If it's anything like it is here in Columbus, you can no longer put money in the parking meters.
Really?
Yes. You either pay with an app.
Oh.
I'm not even sure if you can put a credit card in it anymore. I don't know. Anyway, welcome. Thank you. Uncle Tron, good to see you. Prepper Book Club. All of y'all coming in, shut the screen door. It's chilly. Wipe your feet. Sit down, scooch over, step over, walk around, say excuse me, be polite, get comfortable, folks, because we are going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. My man, Fed Up American, an amazing friend, brother, and amazing moderator. Thank you, my brother, for the donation. He says for Bug Out 2024. By the way, folks, Bug Out Weekend 2024. May 16th through the 19th, we will be posting more information and registration after the holidays on our website. And you best can believe those of you that participate, support, and follow the channel, you will be the first ones to know about Bug Out Weekend 2024. But thank you, Fed Up American. I appreciate it, my brother. You know, everything is everything. And there we go. All right. Yaya Ka, welcome in. See, y'all gonna don't I can't get sucked into the chat because we got a lot to talk about, and I've got the man to talk about it, and we're gonna do about it. So, can the US withstand a red dawn? Now,
Mm.
here's the preface to this. And for those of you in the chat, if you have not seen the movie Red Dawn, I suggest you go watch it after the live stream. Now, Red Dawn, I'm bringing the concept because of all the mayhemicness going on in the world, people throwing rocks at each other all over the world, people coming in across countries with no borders, and just all kind of mayhem. So, with that, Mad Shad, my question, can the U.S. withstand a Red Dawn event?
My answer would be yes, but there's stipulations.
Okay.
Right, right. I'll try to expound as much as I can. So, with the premises of Red Dawn, the first one or the second one. The second one actually goes into more detail of why and how the invasion happened. The first one, it was North Korea. Wow, North Korea invades us. That's going to be fun. The
Yeah.
second one, which it said that it was the Chinese, right? And it actually did a little bit of talk, insider job kind of thing. Like they got their people into higher echelon in our military and our politico to exact their plan, which was to invade, literally paratroopers falling from the skies, um, and everything. Yeah, the whole
Right.
basically the whole Chinese army is here. Everything from air to arty to tanks to troops on the ground, going door to door, house to house, taking prisoners, and that tells you exactly what their intent was. So they came here to invade. So them invading means that they don't want to do a lot of structural damage. They wanted to create camps and create slaves, and then imprison us and strong arm us into submitting. uh, which did happen in the movie. It did happen,
Right.
and then people started to fight back, and of course they had that clandestine, Thor, being the super marine that he was, takes on all these kids and creates this clandestine operating force, and gives people hope, and shows them, oh, I can do this too. But
Yeah.
before that, the premise of the movie was everybody was just sheeple and going along with it, because the Chinese were just ruthless, and we were sheeple,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
That is not the case. That is not the reality of where we are in America, and and it. We're not going to
Absolutely.
stand idly by while somebody sticks a gun in my face, from another country, and tells me to get into the concentration camp. You know,
Exactly. Old Mutt, my friend, my mentor, and the man. I'm telling y'all, thank you so much for the donation, Old Mutt, for the Bug Out 2024. We appreciate it and you and everything you bring and do for the community. Thank you again, my friend, and I hope to see you May 16th through the 19th, 2024, because I want to do some more talking with you about solar, my friend, as always. So I hope to see you. Thank you, old Mutt. So, current days, with things and I'm gonna talk about our great country, these United States of America, with us not having any control on the southern border. Anybody literally can come across. We've all heard the stories of military age Chinese gentlemen entering our country, as well as others from other countries of military age. There's more single men coming into this country than there are families or women and children. What do you think of that?
that's yeah. That is the and we know why. They need to get an army. That's how the Red Dawn is happening. It has to happen that way, because if they do it, by paratroopers out of the sky, we're going to shoot them down quickly and probably gleefully,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
That that tells you that they don't they don't want to destroy anything here. They don't want a lot of structural damage here. They want to infiltrate, because we are very dangerous. you know,
Yes.
we will see. The reason the Red Dawn happened is because somehow, some way, they turned off things, and so in our military, and our military, is there are levels. Levels of hierarchy, levels of echelon, that the surveillance, say the early warning system, I mean, there's so many, the radar, the aegis, you know we can detect, we have this line of sight around our country for thousands of miles, so we'll see something coming like that a
Right.
long time before it gets here. And
Right.
for the military or the political or whatever, our leaders, to say, just go, like, say what happened in Israel with the Gazas, the Palestinians. Hey, just go on break. Yeah, why don't y'all just, everybody just go? No, hell no, that would never happen. There's some very dedicated individuals that will say, wait a second, and they'll start pulling the alarm, blowing the whistle, and go, something's going on here, and they will take charge, even though their higher ups are telling them not to. And not only does our military have that, where because our military is based on volunteers. These are patriots, right? Majority of our military is patriots. They have families, they have friends, they have ties to this land, to the people. to the cities, to the states, to everything. So they're not going to stand idly by as something like this happens. Not only
Right.
that, there is a large and robust civilian sector that watches and surveils, and they're watchdogs. They're not going to allow this to happen, nor are they going to shut up and allow, to, hey, be quiet. So for Red Dawn to happen as it did in the movie, you would have to have a major coordinating effort to suppress all these hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions,
Mhm.
that have their eyes to the skies, ears to the ground, boots on the ground, that will tell us exactly what's happening before it happens. So, and if it does happen, boom, you're going to see all these people and all these groups and uh, activate. Your sheriff is going to get on his bullhorn and say, "Hey guys, we're starting the militia. The Chinese have invaded. Get your
Yeah.
guns. Granny, get your guns. Let's go." So the they know that we can mobilize quickly. They know
Yeah.
that, so they have to infiltrate, and they
Yeah.
have to embed themselves into our society and hide and be sleepers. We've talked about that before. That
Right.
the biggest weapon we have against sleeper cells is capitalism.
Exactly. Yeah.
uh,
And
you know,
if I'm sure you've seen the trailer to the movie coming out next year called Civil War.
yeah, it's interesting, but I'd say that's a little bit more uh, uh, accurate, if you will, because you have so many groups. I kind of like the idea of Texas and California, of all places, to
Yeah.
become their own force. But anyway, against the U.S. military. But even in the U.S. military, you're still going to have that fighter pilot that says, "You know what? No,
Right.
no, I'm going to detain my captain. I'm taking my jet and I'm going that way."
Exactly.
That's going to happen in the military, in your state, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And the prepared Irishman said, "What's Mad Shad's favorite pie?"
All of them. All of
He
them.
said all of them. He likes them all.
Yeah, my favorite pie is my current pie, and it's a pumpkin pie right now.
There you go. Yes. And folks, now you hear what we're saying, but I'm serious. This country very easily could be invaded.
Oh, it's definitely been invaded,
Right.
and this is how they've
Right.
done it.
Exactly. I still say that we're going to see the electrical grid go down within the next year or two.
There's a lot of predictive or foreshadowing going on in our Hollywood, and
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. And we all know they give us a sneak peek of reality through their crazy movies that they put out that are so realistic.
right.
But keep in mind, folks, whatever the left hand's doing over here, keep your eyes on the right hand, because the right hand is making the moves. Because whether they're trying to distract us, whether it be Grandpa Ice Cream's son being indicted or Grandpa Ice Cream possibly finally getting impeached, or whatever they're going to do to Donald Trump, but keep in mind what affects us and what's going on in our country is what matters. And I'm really concerned about all of these people invading from our southern borders that are being miraculously and mysteriously bussed all over the country. That's the kicker.
Yeah. Given cell phones and cards with 5,000 gift cards with $5,000 on it. you
Yeah,
know I mean, that's came out, allegedly, right? And
right,
then nobody knows who's doing it. So if you ask the homeland or the immigration, the IS, the La Migra, or whoever, they're gonna say, "I don't know what you're talking about. It's not us." Well,
right.
it's we know who's doing it.
We do.
They tell us who's doing it, and I'm going to say it with a little bit of wordsmithing is Soros, right? So that guy,
Yeah.
he's been doing it all over the world. He's
Yeah.
the one that's responsible for what's going on in France, in Germany, everywhere, Sweden, all these places with these replacement migrations, and you
Mhm.
know of course, they're going to destabilize and I mean England. I mean, you can't go anywhere without look at Seattle. Look at Portland. Look at any of the borderline states. You can't. New York. It's New York has said, "Hey, we can't take anymore. Please take them back." They're
Yeah.
pleading. They're
Right.
begging. Chicago, the people actually were up in arms. They're like, "Hey, if you don't get rid of them, we will."
We do.
And
Exactly.
when that strong black woman gets on that podium and says, "Oh hell no," it's serious. So
Exactly. Yeah. And the thing is, folks, by the way, all of the amazing content creators in the chat, if you type the word vision, it'll drop a link to your channel. Folks, go check out some of these amazing content creators you may not be familiar with. Watch a video, hit the like button, leave a comment. If you like what they're doing, subscribe to their channel because we all grow together. And by the way, could one of my amazing moderators drop a link to Mad Shad's channel? Folks, if you have not checked him out,
thank you.
you're missing the boat because on Saturday night, axes fly, body parts fall off, and yeah, you too, kind sir, nice ma'am, could get into the Hall of Fame.
That's
And
right.
then
That's right.
there's Sunday Reflections. That
Um,
that's my favorite. Sunday Reflections. I just sit back with a cup of coffee and I say very little in the chat and I just listen to this man because he drops knowledge on Sundays, folks.
thank you. Thank you.
You're more than
It,
welcome.
it's all really just rantings and ravings of a madman, really. But
And they're
what
good
better?
and they make sense. But folks, our country, I can say this, and I'm not that old. There's some in the chat that claim that they're older than me, but I haven't seen no driver's license or birth certificates. But I have not seen our country as vulnerable as it is right now.
It
Just
is.
by the way things are happening, what's going on, and what's being let happen. That's the kicker. And like you said, nobody's owning up to it, but yet they're all doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't understand. But Red Dawn, it could happen. It may not go down like the movies or the way we think. It could be something else. It could be a combination of cyber hack, internet's down, the grid goes down. Now what?
It
It,
would have to be for Red Dawn to be achieved, which we already know that there's millions of army people in their army already here, and who's to say it's just one army? It might be several armies, several nations that have special interests. We already know. Iran and China and Russia, North Korea, even. I mean, everybody's here and everybody's operating. I mean, the big thing was the Taliban sleeper cells. Of course, they're here, but and they're in mass, and and you can look at history. You can look at history and see where this has played out, where it has worked, where it has not worked. El Salvador, here back in was it the 70s? They had a massive replacement migration, and it was to depose and to oust a leader and take over the country, which they did. And these guys literally did it with shotguns and bolt action rifles. Yeah. So, but the people themselves were peace loving God-fearing,
Yeah.
people, and they didn't have guns. They were simpleton farmers, and or living in the jungles, providing for themselves. They were very peaceful, and that's what we have to be on guard against. Is that, well, we know America, most of Americans, we are peaceful. We're peaceful, God-fearing,
Yeah.
decent folk.
Yes, we
And that
are.
is the truth, regardless of what you hear on any of the social media, the woke bullcrap. Uh, we are God. Majority of us are very, very good people, and that's America.
Yes.
But these people will try to tell us that we're not, and that only half of a percent of these, how should I say, these diversities, of these followers of sexual diversities, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, that they are the majority, which they are not. They are less than half a percent of the population. So, but they get all the airtime, right? We can see that it's starting to go away. And maybe cooler heads will prevail, and more conservative, like-minded individuals, which most people with families are,
Yeah.
because you got kids, and you got to think that way. um, they want to destroy that, and they know that they can't do it in force with Red Dawn, but they can lead up to that point. See, Red something like Red Dawn has to take years, months, years of planning and preparation, and prepping the people for the invasion.
Mhm.
What's his name? The famous, um, Russian spy, Russian KGB guy that came over here and told us about this
Yeah.
insidious plan, Marxist insidious plan that they use to you know topple governments, and it does work.
Right.
The insurrections and stuff like that. It takes a long time and many steps of low intensity conflict before the tanks start rolling down our streets, before the paratroopers come out of the skies.
Yep.
It's they want to win without fighting, and Sun Tzu said it best: to win without fighting is best. And that's how they're trying to do this, and that's how they're going to do it. We like to fight. We're Americans. We like to fight, and we have the largest standing army in the world. 330 million. There's 550 something guns and ammo, and in this country, and we train the government, we train the military, we train the police, we outfit, we make all this stuff. It's not the military, it's not the police that do that. They have to rely on us, and plus we give them the manpower. So
Yeah.
we also have the mindset, and so our mindset comes with that of being free, God-fearing, hardworking Americans, and we will fight to protect what is ours and our land, and they know that, so they have to come at us sideways.
Yeah, exactly. And Bug Out Adventures, welcome in. Bug Out Adventures says hackers hit or tried to hit the Texas grid already. It's happening. They're
Okay.
testing the water now. Look at
Yep.
Hawaii. Their water system
Oh
got
yeah.
hit by PRC. Yeah.
And so the lessons of our forefathers come back. Props are dangerous. We have propped ourselves up on this new technology, and interlocked everything, where that if one crucial little, like Jenga,
Yeah.
if one little piece is taken out, everything topples. We have to have redundancy. And it appears that lack of redundancy in our systems has been built in, but there is hope, and I'm all about hope.
Yeah.
There are people that are dedicated, that work and live in these systems, especially our grid, that will work tirelessly, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to put things back on track, back online, to get things going. I mean, you've seen these people. Anytime there's a hurricane, there's 1,000 trucks with cranes on it, going with their yellow flashing lights, and they're going into battle. They've got
Right.
chainsaws, and they've got their gloves, and they're working, and they don't stop. So, shout out to all those linemen out there. Shout out to all those
Right.
plumbers out there. Shout out to all those electricians. They're the ones that say, okay, let's go. Let's do this. And they get our infrastructure back on. And that goes all the way up, into our water treatment facilities, everything. Yes, the push of a button can send everything, crashing. But there's so many more people that are going to fight this and get things back online.
Exactly. And Jones Truth says, Vision Preparedness, we have allowed the messed up people to almost dictate our daily lives. The truth is, the most of us are just trying to live to the best of our abilities with our family in peace.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, Jones Truth. And that's what Mad Chad was talking about. We are peace loving people. We just want to be left alone, tend to our chickens, goats, dogs, cats, and just live life peacefully.
Yeah.
But the love of money is the root of all evil. That was in a book I read. And somebody wants to be in control and tell us what to do, and they don't have the right to do that. And it just amazes me. And I was talking with a friend that's in Australia.
Mm.
The last thing he said is, they took our guns.
Mhm.
Please do not let your government take your guns, because if they take your guns, the world will fall. We
Yeah.
have the largest private military on the planet, folks. I don't care where you stand on the 2A, whether you're for it, against it, don't want it, want it. Right now, there is no other army in the world larger than the U.S. American citizens. Period.
That's right.
End of
That's
story.
right.
Not even
It's
China.
right. They don't have guns. As a matter of
No.
fact, the guns they have, they don't work so good.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, everything. Stormed Radio and Cats, welcome in. Good evening. And by the way, if I did not welcome you folks personally, those that came in, I heard the door creak. Thank you for shutting the door. Thank you for wiping your feet. Teresa, thank you for throwing more logs into the stove. And this is for all of you on Mayhemic Thursday. Because mayhem is abound, and we're just talking about what could happen. Not saying it's going to, but I'd rather talk about it to get everybody thinking about it,
Yeah.
and to have everybody, if not prepared, to be talking about how do you get prepared.
Yeah.
That's the name of
Yeah.
the game.
Get prepared, and we already are. We already started. Everybody does that. As far as like prepping, hardcore prepping, and gathering resources, and being self-sustaining, self-reliant, and self-governing, and that makes you ungovernable. So we know that actually, I tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Red Dawn would be the best thing that ever happened to this country.
Yes.
Red Dawn event would be the best thing that ever. It would unite us. It would unite. You would see rooftop Koreans and the Cholos going, "Hey, we need to go ahead and interlock our defenses. You watch my back, I'll watch yours, and we're gonna work together." You're gonna see all the something like that would galvanize this country and its people to one purpose, and that's to stop the invading forces of whoever, China, North Korea, whatever. So a Red Dawn event would be something that would just awaken the sleeping giant,
Yeah.
that is the American people and the greatness of it.
Yes.
We understand what we remember. Pearl Harbor, that smack in the nose, that bloody nose that we got in that.
Mm-hmm.
it
Hmm.
led us into a war that the world is still talking about to this day.
To
So,
this day. Exactly. Exactly. And folks, you know, since I became a content creator, and even before that, I've heard people talk about, I don't have any like-minded people around me. I don't know how to start a group. I was in that classification myself. But I met a guy. I saw a guy up in New Yorkistan, Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival. He had a bug out yard sale, bug out weekend. I'm like, what is this? And after I pestered him to death about how do you do this? What do you do? How can I? He said, just do it. He told me, Trent, do it. If just 3 people show up, it's successful. Last year was our first annual bug out weekend. 43 people showed up. I met 6 guys that I knew already from YouTube, the YouTube streets. Met them, shook their hands, had conversations with them. They live in the great state of Ohio, and we talk daily. There's not a day that goes by in a week that we don't talk. We share information. We run ideas. We scream, we holler, we cry, we laugh, we act stupid together because we have become family. And those of you that do live in Ohio or neighboring states, you have no excuse to miss the bug out weekend next year.
yeah, it's a
I
great
was,
time.
yes,
Great
I was
times.
talking with a gentleman. Him and his wife are coming from California.
Right on. Yeah, right
I'm
on.
just saying, yeah. And people in your neighborhood, as Mad Shad was alluding to, if Red Dawn happens, your community should, not saying they will, band together because everybody has a commonality, and that's to live and to protect their families in this great United States of America. I
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Well, I can, because I'll go down that rabbit hole, because my good friend to my to my right, to my left, your right, yes, he will say something and then poke the bear and stand back and do this.
Yeah. I'm a thought provoking person. Yes.
Yes.
Hey,
And then the
Alex!
bear roars. Yes. But do you folks think that these movies, this movie that just came out, Leave the World Behind, do you think that just happened to come out now? The book was written in 2018, 2019.
Oh, well.
Bought the rights. And
Hmm.
yeah, the Barry and Michael are 2 of the 12 executive directors. Don't care.
Right.
Don't care. But
Regardless of who made it, it does have a message. Uh, you know, and we can always learn from things like that. And
yes,
as preppers, as forward thinking individuals, we like to go down that rabbit hole. We like to entertain these notions and go, what would I do in this situation? And that gives you some type of insight into what you would need. Well, oh, I'm going to need a bug out bag. Okay. What am I going to put in that bug out bag? Oh, I'm going to have to put food, water, medical supplies. Oh, well, how am I going to protect myself? Oh, well, you see, it opens up a Pandora's box of preparedness. And next thing you know, you've got you an MRAD
ah,
and solar panels popping out of it. Uh, you know,
yes,
um,
and that's just
you're
it.
yeah. I mean, you're living in a mountain with interconnecting bunkers and other people that are hanging out with you. And you guys are growing everything and eating and self sustaining and that's you know that's a beautiful thing. It is. And so if the movie does it, and if they are, because they're trying, yes, they are trying to do this foreshadowing or predictive programming, and where they, and yes, we could also say um, it's a devilish, deceptive design, where they tell you what they're going to do, but I don't think they realize.
Mhm.
You talk about poking the bear. This is the hornet's nest here in America. You
Yes.
know, you
Yeah.
don't want to knock this hornet's nest around because it's a really big one, and so that's why they're coming at us through our heads, through our minds.
Yeah.
It's all about, you've heard winning the hearts and minds of the people. It's also about destroying the hearts and minds of the people, because if
Right.
I can destroy the will of the fight in the people, I don't have to fight them.
Yeah.
To win without fighting is best, and that's where Sun Tzu comes in. And they know this. They're smart, but they're cowardly. So they have to be smarter and cunning. And but it but when they bring this to our attention, we take it and we game it. We're like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah, all right, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I got that covered. I'm good. You
Right.
let it come. Come what may. We got this.
Yep.
Like you said, we were built for this, and we were.
Right.
We are built for this. So always have hope, and know that we're going to get through whatever they throw at us. It doesn't matter. I mean, that's the part of the American spirit that I love, is that we can overcome everything. We
Yeah.
have, we
Yes.
absolutely have. I mean, think about taking horses and going across a wilderness
Yep.
that will kill you. The sun will kill you. The animals will kill you. There's no food, and yet here we are trying to drag a wagon across thousands of miles of treacherous terrain, and doing it, and others following. And we did that.
Right.
That's our forefathers, that's our ancestors, and to get here they had to cross a dangerous ocean.
Yeah.
So who cares about a little cyber attack? Who cares about a little alien invasion? Hey, aliens, okay, yeah, but I think the aliens, if the alien invasion happens, they're scared. They're not going to invade.
Right. Exactly. They said no. Them folks in that country are crazy. Yeah. I don't care how much tech we got. So 125 says we're a bunch of fat, out of shape, drunk crackheads. We wouldn't last a minute if we were invaded by a military.
Okay. No, okay. Well, if you are a bunch of fat, overweight crackheads, then no, okay, fine. Don't run. Stay in your house, stick your gun out the window, and there you are. You are now a camper, one of many. I mean, fortify your position, and there you go. You're just one of 550 million guns that are going to be pointed towards the enemy. So
Yeah.
even if you can't do anything, you can also think, and you can also mentor others, and you can also train others,
Yeah.
even if you have mobility issues, I get it,
Yeah.
you know, uh, but you can still fight.
Hmm.
Don't quit, never give up.
Never.
Don't let this world defeat you.
No. Right. She said, "You can't say what you want to say. Say what you want to say. Say it. I don't care. You're here. You're with family. Wondering
What you say?
minds want to hear." But yeah, I agree with you, Shad. And what's the analogy, folks? That's why we talk about practice. And I'm not going to get deep into that, but for those of you that have seed dispensers and seeds, practice. And I'm not talking about 20 minutes at the range shooting paper targets. Put your gear on. You don't have to carry the long seed dispenser. Go ruck. Go put on your pack, put on your gear, and go walk a mile and back. Because if something like this goes down, the physicality is going to be tremendous. And because we are a country of luxury, everybody wants to sit at home and put their feet up, click on YouTube on a 75-inch, which I look absolutely horrible on a 75-inch, let alone a 12-inch screen. But get out and exercise, walk, do something. Do what you can and do your best. That's all we can do, folks, is do our best.
Right. And
Because,
you'll be surprised of how many groups there are out there that are
yes,
doing the same thing. You know,
yeah,
I was amazed here in Cleveland. There's such a large, uh, over 60, over 70 active group that walk and constantly hike, and I see them all the time. I'm about to turn 50 myself, and I told the story of this lady. She was in her 80s. She's 4'3", and she carries like 50 to 70 pounds in a backpack with her and jogs.
wow.
I talked to her one day. She thought like this. And she said, "Don't quit, never stop, never grow. Don't quit, never
Yeah,
stop." I was like, "Wow, if she can do it, why can't you?" I mean, we make a lot of excuses, and we all do. I do too. We
yep,
all
we
do.
do.
That's
We
human
all do.
nature. That is. That's our human nature to go, "Oh, you know what? I want to be fat, dumb, and happy, and sit in my creature comfort area in my pod, and eat my, ho hos, and whatever it is, and
Yeah,
watch YouTube and just be happy,
yeah,
uh, and be content and whatever. Get out there, get out there. I understand if you have mobility issues, in that some people, they go for a walk might kill them, but
right.
there's other things you can do. There
Yep,
is, and using your mind. The mind is the best weapon ever.
yes, it is.
It's the most dangerous thing. I've seen people that were like super in shape,
Yeah,
massive specimens of athleticism and agility, and yet they would just, to win a fight, they would outthink people. They
yes.
would sidestep. I've done it myself, where I've win without fight. To win without fighting is best. You know, what, as Deadpool likes to say, is minimum effort, maximum gain. You know.
Exactly. Yeah. And Orion Preparedness says veterans will rise to the occasion.
Yes, yes. Veterans are definitely one of that group of people that will go, huh, hey, y'all, watch this.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
we'll
Exactly.
handle this.
And I will fight to my last breath to protect my family, my friends, my brothers and sisters, because that was our God-given right in this country. And folks, I don't know what's going to happen, but I will say this, something is going to happen. And I don't
Right.
want anybody to get blindsided. And don't get scared either. Just be aware, prepare, do the best you can. I'm not telling you to go out and run up your credit cards. I'm not telling you to buy all your gear from us or you're going to die. That's not the case, because that's not going to happen. I don't live across the border to the north of us and have a massive warehouse of all this gear. And if you don't buy it, you're going to die. You'll never hear that here.
What's his address?
Homesteader Rachel, good to see you. Go ahead.
I just asked a question. What was his address again? What's the warehouse address?
I don't know. I'll have to look it up, but
Yeah.
it's
No, I'm kidding. Here we go,
yeah,
poking that bear again. Uh,
exactly. See, he poking the bear. I'm going to give out the man's address.
no, no, no. Hey, more power to him. I mean, if
Right.
he wants to make
I ain't
money,
mad
hey,
at it. Right.
some of his
No,
gear I've seen, I was like, maybe that'd be a good, that's a good idea. It's kind of inspiring. I can make my own, but
correct. Correct. Saffron Bay said, just joining. What did I miss?
everything, yeah, everything.
Everything.
we'll start over.
Yeah, we'll start over just for you, Saffron Bay. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping in. So here's the question.
Mm.
What can we do as citizens to prepare and protect ourselves against and I'm doing air quotes for those just listening, to protect ourselves against a Red Dawn event in this country?
Right. Get to know your sheriff. Your if you've seen in our history, your sheriff department, your sheriff will he's the one that's going to say, "Hey, guess what? You're deputized. Let's go.
Yeah,
Get in the truck. We're going out to meet the enemy." Get with your community. Get with your neighbors. If there's a community watch program, get in on that. Get in on that, and you can set by doing you can in participating you are helping and you can steer it. Maybe it's just a community watch where they're watching a crime, like the crime watch. Well, how
yeah.
about watching the skies? You remember the 40s, 50s, and 60s? There was civil defense.
Mm-hmm.
People were setting up. Know where your hardened structures are, your hurricane structures, your
Yeah,
tornado shelters. Usually, they're schools, and talk to the people that are in charge of that. Get with your ham radio operators. Your ham radio. There's so many groups that are watching and listening, and they're doing these decades long exercises. Over and over and interlinking and everything where they surveil and they have been preparing this country for that Red Dawn scenario for decades. So there's so much you could do. Yeah, you're talk to the National Guard, and there is always going to be, these groups. And I don't want to say militia, but
right.
there's always groups in your area that are training. They're
Yes.
hardcore training. Your 3 gun events. There's one in yeah. I'm gonna shout out Brent 33221 one Shepherd's one where these guys literally hundreds of people show up and pay
Yeah,
money to go uh, play military, full on military op for miles gear, and they suffer in the rain and they learn everything. It's a learning. It's a classroom. So there's these classrooms everywhere, out in the middle of the woods, and they're suffering and they're learning and they're passing it on. They're building brotherhood, brethren. That's where it's at. But you can start local. You can start local, and you can start it yourself. Talk
yeah,
to your neighbors.
yeah,
Yeah, you might be that. I'm going to quote somebody here. His name is Paul, but his first name was Rue, and he said something that really, really made a lot of sense. He's like, "It's none of your business what other people think of you. So if you come off as that crazy prepper guy, so what? You know what? When that fecal matter hits the fan, then
yeah.
people are going to go, hey, man, Shad is right over there. I'm going to go knock on his door. I'm going to yell at him from the window, go, hey, don't shoot.
Right.
Can we
Exactly.
talk? Can we talk? Let's have coffee. You're going to do that's going to happen anyway. People are going to seek you out, right? But you have to put yourself out there. And yeah, if you're one of those people that are worried about doxing and all that, yeah, you have to protect yourself. Your offset, things of that nature. But
Mhm.
if you're just going to sit back and sit in your bunker and not talk to anybody and
Mhm.
eat your 10,000 pounds of spam by yourself, then you're not helping anybody and you're not helping yourself.
Right.
To help others is also to help yourself.
Yes.
Uh, the best teacher is to teach. Is
Yeah.
to it is. I mean, and so yeah, like you say, teach one. What do you say?
One teach one.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's very, very true. And that connects everyone.
Yep.
And you get on that wavelength. And so it
Yep.
starts in your local area, your community, you
Yeah.
know.
And so she said, has a comment. She said here, she was talking to White Tiger. She said, White Tiger, I have talked to my neighbors. Most think I'm crazy. They're not doing anything. They will look to me and one other to protect them. I leave them alone because I don't want them coming for me.
Okay. So yeah, fine. But when they come to you and say, "Hey, we're starving here. You know, can you give us some bread?" Or they're trying to, "Hey, what can we do to prepare ourselves?"
Mhm.
And you give them a package of seeds. You go, "Bye." You know,
Yeah, exactly.
here's a fishing pole. See you later. Here's some
Right.
worms. Take care. Yeah,
Yep,
good luck.
exactly. And
I had a friend of mine that, he was in the Navy. This was in South Carolina, but he collected knives, really big knives.
uh-huh.
And his idea was I'm going to start an army, and I'm going to call them the Better Knife Brigade. And so instead of me giving guns, I'm going to give them knives, and they can go and get a gun if they wish. So that knife will get you a gun.
Yeah, got that right. And that's just the thing. And folks, what Mad Shad was talking about, that knitting, that coming together, that happened at the bug out weekend,
Oh yeah.
not just with me and everybody from Ohio, but everybody that was there.
Oh
You
yeah.
you got
Yeah.
people from all over the country that to this day still communicate, text, talk, run ideas, work
Yeah.
on projects together.
Yeah.
And that's the whole premise behind it, folks. Us
Oh
coming
yeah.
together, teaching
Yeah.
and learning, exchanging of ideas. Because I don't know everything. And I'm going to tell you something, I don't know anything. All I know is that I will be that guy to stand on the wall and take second watch because I know who's going to take first watch.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
So, yeah. So I'm going to take second watch. Cole's going to be right here. The other pup that y'all may see at the bug out weekend, we may be getting him in February. He may be there. We'll be right here. And we'll stand on the wall and do our watch and our patrol and protect and provide because we were built for that.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm it's to the point where I hear people saying, I don't have anybody. I can't find anybody in my city or in my state. Well,
You're
what are
not
you
looking.
doing? What are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. You're isolating yourself. You're playing into their game.
Yes.
I know this because I was a lone wolf for many, many years. I was like, screw everybody else. Y'all are all stupid. Me and my little SKS and my northern gear are going to go off into the wilderness.
Right. Yeah.
Northern prepper gear
Yeah.
that I gotta buy before I die. Me and that are going off into the woods, and we're going to survive, and everybody else is going to be dead. No, okay. Can a lone wolf survive? Sure, yes. Look at the hundreds of thousands of mountain men that survived and said, to hell with society, I'm going off to the mountains. And there's still that people,
Yeah.
but they chose that life. So if you're asking yourself, I can't find anybody. Guess what? You chose to be there in that place. So
Right.
you have to make the conscious effort to get out, make contact, say hi. How you doing? Have
Yeah.
some coffee with someone,
Hmm.
and talk.
Hmm.
That's all it is. That's all you need. If you're
Absolutely.
not willing to do that, then you're not willing to participate, and you're not willing to survive.
Right.
You're going to be a lone wolf, and good luck. So
Exactly. And
maybe
coffee.
maybe I'll drop a care package by on my way through. I don't know.
There you go. Coffee. Thank you for stopping in this evening. Have a great evening and stay safe. Have an amazing weekend. But yeah, you're right. We have to, at some point, we're either going to come together or we're going to be forced to come together.
Yeah, right. Right, it is. That is exactly it. I mean, and you'll be surprised. You'll be shocked. You'll be like, "Wow, my neighbor two ways down the street is actually a freaking prepper."
Yeah, exactly. And I'll be honest with you, since we've been out here in rural Ohio, I know my neighbor to the west, I know my neighbor to the east, I know my neighbor at the end of the street, and I know a neighbor that lives down the street and around the corner because he walks 3 miles every day.
Oh wow,
And
that's
we have
awesome.
a conversation. Yeah.
Yeah,
So do I know everybody? No. But the first people that I made contact in when I moved out here was the local sheriff. And I know
yeah,
3 of them,
yeah.
deputies.
And
So
your sheriff is one of those people that he's taking stock of who's in his county and
yeah,
who where are your people or resources, right? So he's looking at that as well. Like, hey, so you could ask your sheriff, I need this. Okay, I know a guy, and boom,
yeah,
I'll put you in contact with him. You guys talk, you know. Um, and yeah, I mean, you got to get out there. So, uh, I, I think I wouldn't say we've gotten off topic, but the Red Dawn, could it happen here? Sure, but man, it's going to be a hornet's nest for him.
oh, absolutely. It will be a hornet's nest. I mean, you look at I'm gonna just take Texas by itself.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be a bloodbath, and it'll be 10 times bigger and 10 times worse than the Alamo.
Yeah, I don't think the movies do, Texas justice when they bring
No.
Texas back, like Civil War and
Yeah,
I mean Texas itself could probably take on the United States military and win.
correct. Correct. I'm with you. Texas's alone could protect west of the Mississippi, going towards
Yeah,
the West Coast. They could take care of that whole section of the country by
yeah,
themselves.
yeah. I
Yes.
mean they kicked Mexico. Well, I'd say Mexico. They at the time it was what the Spanish Army, which was
Yeah.
another growing monarchy, world power. Texas itself kicked their butt. I said, get back over there. Get
Right.
across that Rio Grande. We don't want you
Exactly.
here.
Yolanda Vincent said, start talking to people in your church. You might be surprised how many are like
Absolutely.
minded. Prime
Absolutely.
example, if y'all have never seen my pastor on a live stream, you need to go back last week because he is all in it, all gone, and looked at me one day and said, you will do this, this, and this for the church. And I looked at him and said, yes, sir. And there we go. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
But like you
Right.
said, if you can't find anybody, it's because you chose not to.
Hmm. Yeah.
You know, it's Red Dawn. It could happen. It'll be a poop show, and it's going to have to be done strategically. Meaning, this is just my opinion. I'm not a military guy. Never served a day in the military. But if it was me, I would create mass chaos in the country first before anybody stepped foot here. Take out
Hmm.
the power grid. That's going to cause mass chaos.
Yeah.
And from there, let the country implode in on itself and then come in and clean up the leftovers. I don't know.
But that's wishful thinking, and
Right.
that sounds like it'll work. But how many people already live without power? How many people, they don't care about the creature comforts that we hold so dear in this life. And you know what? After about a week or two, you kind of like realize, I really don't need power. I can do without. Look at the Amish.
Yeah,
They lived their whole lives, generations without power, by a
right.
choice, by
Yeah,
choice.
by choice. Yeah,
That's funny. We just met some Amish today, but anyway, people like that are proof that we really don't, that props are dangerous, and you don't need that stuff.
yeah,
If you like camping, you know, uh, you already know what it's like to sleep under the stars and see how to breathe the fresh air. You already know what it feels like to sleep on the cold ground and be okay with it. You
right.
know,
And wake up in the morning and you smell the campfire and possibly the sweet smell of coffee sitting there waiting for you when you drag yourself out of your tent. Huh.
Mhm.
Allegedly. That's
Oh,
purely allegedly. Allegedly.
allegedly, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, all you need is a fire, a heat source.
Yes.
So we know how to make that. I think that after a few weeks, if not less, is people are going to be like, oh, yeah, this is fine. This is fine. Uh, you know,
Yeah.
what, you know, people, yes, people will perish. That's going to be unfortunate,
Mhm.
especially those that are propped up and using electricity to survive. People on dialysis, people on life support.
Right.
Your old folks in hospitals and things of that nature. People that are homebound that need these systems, uh, and that they don't have the redundancies because they're being propped up as well by their government, by their their groups. My mom is one of them. She has to have oxygen, and these people come out every day, and they, or every month or so, and they service everything and maintenance everything. And so, if she doesn't have anybody to do that, she's not going to do it herself because she's been relying on them to do it. So
Right.
that's the idea as well. Are you how much of your survival are you relying on somebody else to do? Because
Yeah.
if you are, you're giving them power over you.
Yeah. Orion Preparedness said, if anything, I would see the Red Dawn scenario would happen in cities where people are unprotected. The major obstacle would be gangs.
And yes, I was going to talk about that as well. Think
Hmm.
about all the gangs. I mean, you've got biker gangs, you've got drug gangs, you've got I can name them all off if you want: the Crips, the Bloods, the Four Corners, the Vice Lords, the Latin Kings. I mean, we can go on and on and on.
Disciple,
You know, I
gangster
mean,
disciple, all of them. Yeah.
right, gangster disciples, yeah, exactly. I mean, and so there's so many, and they themselves are their own little community, their own little mag. They
Yes.
are,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
they operate as such. I mean, look at the Hell's Angels. I mean, they're all veterans, and they all own stuff, and they all pool their resources together to
Mhm.
for a common goal, a commonality. And so yes, these criminal elements, when there's WROL, world without law, then
Right.
what is criminal and what is law? It doesn't matter at that point.
Yeah.
It's only the strong will survive, and if you're not with a group or a community, you're going to be taken advantage of. You're going to be the
Exactly.
resource. you know.
And Orion Preparedness said, our critical infrastructure is extremely fragile. City people will freak out. Most country folks will carry on.
Yep, absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. And I've heard stories here in Cleveland. There's also, hardy hardy stock, especially in the north, where they've went without power 2 or 3 weeks at a time.
Yeah.
And they're just fine. They're hanging out in their basement making moonshine. So
Yeah.
growing
Exactly.
potatoes. There's people like that in your look at your look at the cities out west where every street is its own community, and
Yeah,
they provide their own resources for each other. That
exactly.
exists. That does exist in your cities. Now, yeah, your cities are going to be the cesspool. It's going to be total mass pandemic and mayhemic of mayhemic proportions.
Yeah,
Everybody's going to be homeless. Everybody's going to be hungry. Everybody's going to be dying of some kind of sickness or disease because the rats have now spreading bubonic plague, and the fleas are biting everybody, and there's no power, and everybody's burning their books to stay alive, and basically the cities are crumbling because there is no power.
yeah,
But it's, yeah, of course, but there's always going to be that one guy that's sitting on 10,000 rolls of toilet paper that's saying, "Hey, I'm hungry. I'll give you toilet paper for that can of food." You know?
exactly. Absolutely. Fallen skies. Homesteading and Preparedness channel. Good to see you, my brother. I hope you and your family are doing amazing. The time is 9:12. Wow. He says most people need to set themselves up now before SHTF happens, but most people don't want to spend the money for them to survive.
And that's true, but it doesn't take money.
Right.
See, that's the thing is we've even propped ourselves up on money. You don't even need money.
Right.
We have forgot. Don't forget the faces of your fathers. Don't forget where they come from. Hardy stock is where we come from. Like you said, we're built from this. We're built for this, and our fathers made us.
Right.
You know, and their fathers as well. So think of that and let that empower you.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, folks. If you haven't used your bartering skills lately, you better start working on it now.
I love to haggle. I love
I
to
do
haggle.
too. I'm with where you see what just transpired in the last 24 hours. So
Mm.
yeah, but Miss Jones Truth said vision preparedness, and don't forget the mentally challenged when they can't get their meds, and the prisons will abandon their posts.
Yeah, yeah, and historically, you've seen that one of two things happen in the prison: they all die or they all escape.
Yes,
And unleashed into the world. Yeah, and sure, you're going to see these roving bands of warlords. I'm going to take everything. They're going to be the marauders and the raiders, and they're going to, Mad Max kind of thing. Just take everything by force until they're put down.
yeah,
That's usually what happens to marauders. They get put down by a whole bunch of other groups, or they meet one group that says, "Oh yeah, you're stupid. We're all tier one X Dev Gru and Delta. Uh,
exactly,
clack clack, you're done." You know,
exactly. Yes.
or
So
or they disband. Disband themselves. They get tired of all the raping, pillaging, and plundering, and looting, and losing our body parts. And they just kind of go off on their own.
right,
So anyway,
and Oops says welfare ends, drugs run out, zombie hunt is on. Yeah, I mean it is what it is, folks. And as I've said many times before, war is hell.
yeah,
War
yeah,
is
it
hell.
is.
And
Yeah,
and
it
I,
is.
I pray and I
Don't
hope
do it.
that that never comes to our country. Plain and simple. But if it does, be prepared.
Yeah,
Be
and
prepared.
we talked about, even if you can't fight, if you can cook, you can
Yes.
provide food
Yes.
for those out in the field. You know.
Yes. If you have medical skills, if you can't fight,
Hmm.
if you have skills, those are just as valuable.
Oh yeah,
Um, folks, and I'm not here. I say we are not here for gloom and doom. We're here to get folks thinking.
right,
Can Red Dawn happen? Absolutely. But in my opinion, like Mad Chad said, it would be hard as hell in this country because we have the world's largest private army. I don't
right.
care. unless they bring 25 million across the border illegally and plant them here, we still have a chance.
Oh, we have more than a chance, and that's what they're afraid of. They're
Yes.
they're 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 facing one of the most strongest opponents in the world. We have that's why they're change. That's why they're. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Me too. But that's why they're trying to change the hearts and minds of our kids.
Yeah.
Of the next generation. Because when this strong generation, which is you people out there, all you men and women out there, and your kids that you're raising up strong, that's where our strength is, because we got it from, once again, our forefathers. That's why they're going after the kids, because if they can weaken one generation, they got it. They don't have to fight anymore. They can just say, hey, we're going to take over now, and that next weakened generation of CRT woke, uh gender diversity, whatever stuff, is they're gonna be okay. Sure, I'll eat sea bugs and be
Yeah.
happy.
No, not gonna happen. I'm not
Right.
eating bugs. I won't be happy until everybody here is safe and secure and we carry on as we were before ping pong and Poland and Putin and Zinsky and Grandpa Ice Cream thought
Grandpa.
they could do whatever they wanted to do within this country to us, and we're supposed to listen. No. That's
We,
why
we,
we have
we
the
have a
Second Amendment.
Yeah, we have a strong history of noncompliance.
Correct. That's how this country was founded, by non-compliancy.
Right. We didn't like attacks.
Right.
Attacks on
Exactly.
teens.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. But folks, it is about 10:18, and I hope that this conversation, and you folks in the chat have said some amazing stuff, and I was
Oh, I
trying to
gotta go
catch
back.
up
I,
and
I,
put it
I
up
didn't get
on
to
the
see
screen.
chat. I don't want to read chat so bad. So I have to check out the replay.
Yeah. Frank Short said, matter of fact, he said, I'm sitting in my house right now, 45 degrees outside, and I don't have no heat on, and I'm comfortable. Yeah. And Frank, I'm with you on that, because last winter I did not turn my heat on all winter long, because I was doing two things. I ate once a day, and I didn't turn the heat on because I wanted to see how it would be to be in a situation where I did not have. I
Right.
burnt my wood burning stove in the basement 24 hours a day, and I did okay.
Yeah. Be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Exactly. Absolutely, folks, because this country, we have more comforts than anybody else on the planet. I'm going to just put it out there. We do. Period. End of story. I'm not going to argue it. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. Get out and walk. Get out and go for a walk in 30, 40-degree weather.
Oh yeah, it's good for you. It's
It is.
invigorating. It
Absolutely.
will wake you up.
It
It will.
will wake you up. Yes. And
Especially when
and
you got a little dog dragging you across the frozen tundra like Charity does.
exactly. Same here. I got a dog looking at me like, Dad, why are we out here?
There she is.
You know, and he's like, okay. And he goes off and he does his thing. But folks, there she is, Charity, sleep on the couch.
She's
Yes,
passed out.
exactly. But folks, continue prepping, and if you're new to prepping and you think there's no time to prep, that's the furthest from the truth. You can start prepping today, and you're still going to be ahead of 90% of the people in this country,
Oh yeah.
because the time of it being too late to prep is when something happens and you can't start to prep. um that's what it's all about, folks. Ghost Lincoln says it's 55 degrees in my apartment and I'm good. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah. And all last year, I think the coldest it got to in my house was 55 or 58 degrees.
Mm.
And what was I doing? I was layered up and walking through the house. Now, the one thing that I did notice that I had to work on was my attitude because I was uncomfortable. There's nothing like waking up in the morning and it's freaking cold in the house.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. I
You don't
had
want to get
that.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to get up. Right. Under 3 comforters, roaring fire, don't want to wake up, don't want to get up, don't want to go to work. But I did. And
Yep.
so you too can prep. Loretta says, Brother Trenton, Shad, and family, have a great and restful evening and a blessed day tomorrow. Love y'all. Loretta, you do the same. Thank you so much for stopping in. And I will say this, folks. Ghost Lincoln, do me a favor. Can you drop the link to Mad Shad's channel again for me, please? Or one of my other moderators, please. Folks, y'all need to go over and check Mad Shad out and subscribe to his channel if you have not. Okay. He
Thank
he 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 says some amazing things. And if you just want to get rid of some stress, check him out on Saturday night and throw some axes. It's a fun time. Um, thank you, Jones Truth. She said 79 people here. Smash the like button, please. With that, Matt, did I just see XNYC Prepper, my brother? Or should I say XNYC OG Prepper?
Oh, gee.
Yeah, good to see you, my brother. And as he always says, prepare to stay ready for whatever, always. Appreciate you stopping by. And with that, Mad Chad, I'm gonna give you the last words before
Oh,
we get out of here.
put me on the spot here.
Of course.
Uh, folks, get together, get with your community, harden yourself, harden yourself, you know, be strong, be hard, fight so you don't have to later. Be yeah, be comfortable being uncomfortable so that when the time comes, you're fine with it. Like, this is nothing. Folks,
Yeah,
take care.
we got this, y'all. We
We
were
got
built
this.
for this. We were built for this. Whether
And
it
if not,
happens,
grow stronger.
exactly. Resilient Dad, thank you for stopping in, my brother. Keystone Preparedness. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope you're having a great day. Folks, I want to thank everybody for stopping by tonight, spending an hour and 24 minutes with myself and my amazing friend, Mr. Mad Shad. And I'm going to leave everybody with this because y'all are amazing people and I truly do appreciate you. Remember this: keep prepping because your family depends on you and it depends on your life. This is Vision Preparedness. God bless everybody. Have an amazing Thursday. Have an amazing weekend. Stay safe. And I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Talk to you soon.
Mayhemic.
The time is now.